Well, I started my career as a public servant. I grew up in the halls of Congress and spent a long, 15 or so years there. And I thought I would always stay the course. But as I started to get more involved and have some exposure to the Senate Finance Committee and a number of other sort of prominent senators from Utah that had gravitated towards more financial committee assignments, we started to explore models of blended finance, and we knew that government budgets alone couldn't solve the problem. And so we started to look to the private sector to see how we could start to blend finance, blend market rate principles with, the needs of the social sector. And for me, that was a real aha moment. I moved from Congress to a public policy firm. And we had at the time had an incredibly innovative mayor here in Salt Lake City who said, I want to do these social impact bonds, go figure them out. There hadn't been any done in the US. I mean, as we know, the UK and Europe is always far more advanced than us on those pieces. And that is when I ventured down this path of structuring a social impact bond here in Salt Lake City. We did ones on recidivism, one on homelessness, and one on early education. And that, as we know, those are complicated. They took a long time to structure, but it was a real aha moment for me. It was an aha moment that in order to solve these intractable social issues, we need all the stakeholders at the table. We need the private market. We need the public market. We need philanthropy, nonprofits, government leaders. And that is when my career took a really hard right turn towards impact and impact investing. One of our investors in the first project that we structured was Jim Sorenson, and that's how that's how I got to know him. And at the same time, it was Goldman Sachs and JB Pritzker out of Chicago. So it was a really influential group of investors that were really focused on solving these issues. At the time, Jim had just founded his foundation. This was in 2012, the Sorenson Impact Foundation. He'd been lightly dabbling in impact investing at that time, a lot of like early microfinance, as you can imagine. And he asked me to join the foundation side, which I did. And that's when our work began in earnest. So I'll stop there. That is how I got here. And I've actually now been with Jim and the ever sort of growing Sorenson Impact Group since 2012.